The St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame's President's Choice Award this year goes to a man who played an important part of the St. Louis Cardinals' success over the last 60 years. That's 60 years, even though he never put on a Cardinal uniform or played a game. He's Mike Bertani. Mike worked for the Cardinals over 6 decades. He's seen over 5,000 games. He started part-time when he was 13 years old as a change boy in 1957 and never left until now, his retirement. Mike worked in ticket sales for 28 years. He was promoted to stadium operations in 1995. On game days, Mike would get to the stadium at 7 a.m., even after night games, and supervise the cleanup crew, the maintenance crew, the field crew. Each morning he would get a weather forecast, and he would decide when and if they would start the game. He would brief the umpires, but his call was when they would start. Players and managers would ask, when will it stop raining? Mike's standard answer, well, I'm not God, and I can't answer that. One of his biggest challenges was the rare visits of the presidents of the United States, President Obama and Bush in recent years. It's been great when the Cardinals win a championship, but there's all that beer and champagne in the locker room, on the carpet, that Mike had to take care of. That's his job too. But the Cardinals are just part of his life, a big part, of course. Over the years, Mike and his wife have cared for over 40 foster children. He has favorite players and managers. Maybe he'll reveal those tonight. I don't know. We honor Mike Bertani with the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame's President's Choice Award.
Hey, could I say one thing before we start? I want to direct us at Shelley that keep the hope, because I truly believe that someday your daddy's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, Mike, even before COVID hit, you were to be honored by the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame, but you kind of got waylaid. What happened then?
Yeah, it was November 17th, 2019, and that was the night we had that real early snowstorm and ice storm, and I started out from Troy, Missouri at 2 o'clock in the morning, or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I decided to turn around at 7 o'clock and got home at 10 o'clock. I called them and said, I just can't make it. You know, 364 was a sheet of ice, so 2.5 years later, here I am via Houston because we just moved after I retired.
Well, Mike's not going to let that happen again because he's not since moved to Houston, where it's a little warmer.
Yes.
For those that don't know Mike very well, he was the director of stadium operations for the Cardinals for a long time. And he's also been a member of the CBC and Quincy Halls of Fame and has received a couple of awards from the St. Louis Baseball Writers for all he's done for the Cardinals. First off, how long were you director of stadium operations?
Well, I was director of ticket operations for 28 years, and then the last 19 years I was director of stadium operations.
And you started as the office boy for the Cardinals.
Yeah, it was in 1957. I was 14 years old, and at that time the ticket prices were $1.85, so they needed the change boys to carry 50 cents, quarters, dimes, and nickels, you know. So my first paycheck was 1957. It was the All-Star game. I fed box lunches to the press, which they sat out in the right field pavilion. And that was my first paycheck. I got 75 cents an hour for 3 hours work, so that was $2.25. And I opened up the paycheck, and it said $1.78. And I said, "What's that?" And my mom said, "That's taxes." So that was my first introduction in the taxes.
And you thought you were going to be a millionaire, right?
Yes.
So you were stadium director for Bush 2 and 3?
No, just Bush.
Just Bush with
Bush 3, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay. You also worked some All-Star games, didn't you, for the Cardinals?
Yeah, I guess I just told a story about the 57 All-Star game, but I did the 57 All-Star game and the 68 All-Star game, the one that Casey Stengel said that this stadium sure holds the heat well because it was really hot. And then this last one in 2009.
Yeah, I remember the one in '68. It was very warm, and that's when you had the AstroTurf.
Right, exactly.
And that's where the comment came from. It sure holds the
Heat
very well, right?
Exactly.
And you're proud of the fact that you've worked how many World Series and how many playoff games?
Yeah, I'm really lucky. I have 9 World Series or National League Championship rings, you know, and I worked 18 playoff games. I mean, you're looking at one of the luckiest persons, you know, in the room here.
Right. Very good. And you even helped honor 2 presidents, right?
Yeah, that was, it was very, very interesting, but we didn't sleep for 3 days, you know, with Secret Service, and it's amazing. Nobody's going to get to the President of the United States, you know, when the Secret Service and them, and when he's out on the road, it's just amazing how well they have it, have him protected.
Mm-hmm. Was that George W.?
Yes, and then Barack Obama. You know, so
Right.
we had 1 Republican and 1 Democrat. So that was
So you didn't
worked
play
out
any
fine.
favorites?
No, we didn't.
Okay, and what was it like, all that protection for the presidents? Was it,
Well, like I said, it was time consuming. We actually didn't really sleep for about 3 days. You know, we stayed at the stadium. They just don't miss a dime. What they were really concerned about is the parking garage that was in dead center field. I mean, they really concerned them. You know, they really put their anti-terrorist people up there, and the amount of guns that was in that stadium scared me. I tell you that.
and what president or which president of the Cardinals did you enjoy working with the most?
Well, the president. Well, we didn't have too much. We had Mr. Bush and Mark Lamping and the DeWitt family, Billy DeWitt. St. Louis has got treasures with the DeWitt family. They're baseball people for 100 years. They want to win, and they spend money. So they were all good, but I think we have a treasure now in the DeWitt family.
Wonderful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame would like to present its President's Choice Award, finally, to Mike Bertani.
Yeah, I do have 2 members in the family I like to
okay.
recognize here. My daughter Sean's here from Washington, D.C. She's the executive director. She works for the Washington Nationals, and she's the executive director of player relations and community affairs. And then nobody in this room came farther than my son Ryan. He works for the government, and he came in just for this from South Korea.
Whoa.
So I guess he loves me as much as I love him to do that.
And your daughter, Sean, actually worked for the Cardinals at one time.
Yeah, she worked for the Cardinals for a while, too. Yeah.
Well, as I said, the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame is honored to honor you with the President's Choice Award.
Yeah. Well, I'm very appreciative.